In today's video, we are here to talk about Tokyo OK, aka Tulsa in Tokyo. Now, this convention happened July 12th through the 14th of 2024, and I want to give a special shout out and thanks to them. They did accept my application for being a part of the press. If you're new here, I talk about anime and gaming news. We also do reviews on anime and gaming. And every now and then, we do videos such as this. We cover anime conventions, something that I've been attending for over 20 years now. If any of that sounds remotely intriguing to you, please consider subscribing. Now, I don't want to waste any more of your time, so we're going to just dive right into my review of Tokyo OK 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am Ryofu and you are watching The Gaming Harbinger. So first things first, I checked into the hotel and oh, that's right, I wasn't able to check into the hotel. Now, I'm not gonna make this into a full-fledged rant, but I want to talk about this for a minute. Has absolutely nothing to do with the convention. But any of you other con-goers notice that for years and years and years, check-in was always at 3 o'clock. And then, of course, if you showed up maybe an hour or an hour and a half early, they would let you in. Now they've pushed back the time to 4 o'clock. And regarding with my experience at this convention and also 2023 at A-Kon, I didn't get into my room well after 4 o'clock. Has nothing to do with the convention itself, but that has become a reoccurring theme. So what ended up happening was that I had to pretty much take my camera out and let valet park it and then just worry about getting all the stuff to the room at a later time. But I ended up getting something to eat at this restaurant called Dragon China. Fire. I had the dragon shrimp. Very delicious. I mean, the shrimp was so fresh. And it wasn't too far away from where we were at, so it was at this small little plaza. And we just kind of Googled and checked what kind of restaurants were nearby. And that's where we landed. And glad I went there. Good food. So after eating, I decided to go back to check to see if the room was ready, while also thinking, okay, this would be a good time to go get my badge. So I grabbed my badge. I check on the room. Unfortunately, the room wasn't ready yet. So I was like, at this point, I'm like, well, I got my camera, so let's head to my first panel. So the first panel that I went to was called the Con Starter Pack, and it was pretty much just explaining to you, hey, if this is your first convention, here's how you can maximize your time, and also saying, here's all the events that will be happening throughout the weekend, and maybe you should plan out which ones are more important to you than others. And you might be thinking to yourself, Ryofu, why did you attend this panel? You were clearly not a rookie, so why did you go to this? Well, I mean, I still kind of find it interesting to hear like other people's perspectives and to see what they do in order to prepare for a convention, what they do to plan ahead, like in terms of food. Do they bring an ice chest? Do they not bring an ice chest? Just all these things, and it's always interesting to me. And yeah, I mean, there isn't really much for me to learn from here, but like I said, I just like hearing the information, how people present it, and what's important to them. The next panel I attended was how to buy anime goods directly. And this was a very intriguing panel to me because even though I've never partaked in this, it is something that I've always considered doing. And so pretty much the gist is this. As you know, with the internet, we have access to tons of stuff. But believe it or not, we actually don't have access to everything. There are Japanese sellers and dealers that will not sell outside of Japan. So this is where you would have to work with a middleman that will, or the Japanese companies that are willing to work with a middleman to get you your product, where the middle person will be the one that handles the shipping and stuff like that. But I will say this, like, if you're someone that's even remotely intrigued by this kind of stuff, first of all, you're a niche audience. And it's going to be people that probably have a bigger wallet, people that really don't care about shipping prices, but they want some exclusive item or something that they know they're not going to be able to get it in the West. And that's why they would resort to these methods. Very interesting, a very thorough panel. And I at least, learned a couple of places where I can find what I need. The next panel was games and trivia with Sonic. Now, I will tell you this. What I learned from this panel is I absolutely know nothing about Sonic. Nothing about his lore. There's so many characters, never even heard of. And granted, I know that Sonic isn't a series that I've actively followed over the years. Definitely when the first couple of games came out on the Sega Genesis. But after that, it's been kind of a hit and miss here and there. But I was still really surprised that there was such a, if you want to call it cult following, you could say that, but just, there's some diehard fans for Sonic. And apparently we had two of the biggest that were sitting to my right at this panel, because they knew every answer. And then eventually it got to a point where even the people winning were like, okay, I need to let other people have a shot at this because I'm just taking all the prizes. But interesting stuff nonetheless. I had fun. Karaoke with Vocaloids. Now this panel was supposed to be pretty much people picking their favorite Vocaloid songs and testing their vocals. Now, for the most part, I would say everyone that was like, oh, I got to do this. They went up there, they sang their heart out. I always like seeing people that, and I'm being serious, this is not a joke. I like seeing people that can't sing, but then they're so passionate about it. They get so into it. I actually appreciate that. And regardless, like I said, there were multiple people that were ready to go. They had their songs queued up. But then this happened. This kind of happened out of nowhere. It was pretty damn hilarious when it did happen. I don't think it was interpreted this way, but I was like, I hope the person that's singing didn't take it as offense or trying to take the attention away from them. But it was a fun moment. It seemed like for the most part the crowd thought it was absolutely entertaining and hilarious. And it was a fun panel, and it's good to see people enjoy themselves. And also, the panelists themselves, they were so chill that they were like, hey, even if you don't want to sing a Vocaloid song, you don't have to. You can sing sitting down. You don't have to come up here. You don't have to grab a mic. And even if you want to pick a song that's a non-Vocaloid song, you're welcome to do that. The next panel was done by actor Oscar Sung, and it was called Who's Ready for Real Talk? Now, in this panel, this was a discussion of, in some ways you could call it self-help, motivational or inspirational talk. But it was really powerful stuff. If I were to say one thing I missed, one thing I didn't get recorded because I'm not recording the panel from beginning to end. I just record a little bit and then I stop and I enjoy the show. But the part that I wish I would have got was when he shared an experience he had with his family. And pretty much the gist was, when at a certain point in his life, he realized he wanted to be an actor. And his family kind of blew it off and made jokes about it. And at a certain point, he made a stand and just said, hey, if you guys are going to make fun of this, I'm out of here. I'm just going to leave. And eventually that time came. They had the jokes and he bounced. And he said once he did that, no argument, no debating, nothing to discuss. He just left, no explanation. He said after that, it never happened again. And sometimes that's what you kind of have to do in life, and it's not easy. Sometimes you just have to take a stand for yourself, and you gotta place barriers. You know, you have to set boundaries, or people will walk all over you.
Nobody has the power to tell you who you are, or to make you feel a certain way about yourself, or make you believe anything about yourself, unless you let them. As a child, I didn't know any better, and whatever they said about me, I believed. Everything they said about me, in my head I said, yes, I am that. Yes, I am that. An abomination, I am that. Disgusting, I am that. Ugly, I am that. How horrible, right? And one of the greatest things about growing up, getting older, is realizing that wasn't my choice. I agreed with them. I proactively decided to agree with them.
And like I said, it wasn't just that one. There were a couple of other instances where he had some very powerful moments, just sharing his experience and things he had gone through in his life, and just trying to advise and let people know that, hey, you know, some things are within our control, some things are not. And some things, like I said, you just have to let people know where you stand. And then you have to follow through. You have to follow through with these things, or else it's not going to work. And also, I just want to say that I was able to make 2 TikToks from this panel. Please check those out. And more than likely, I will not make shorts of these. And that's more of a technical reason than anything else. And also the length of the footage. But yeah, so you should check those out because you're only going to see those on TikTok. And I would also just add that I really respect and admire this voice actor for coming through and sharing his experiences so he can inspire and motivate other young people. Karaoke hosted by KJ Ray is probably what you would expect. It's people badly singing pop songs from 15 years ago. Now, the only distinction is that this room was super crowded and it was blazing. It was blazing. And it was to the point where I was like, okay, I could only stay in here so long and I got to go because it is blazing in this room. And I'm sure it didn't help that just in general, it was a hot day. It was a hot day. And like I said, the crowdness didn't help. But for the most part, everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves and having a good time. Now, jumping into Saturday, like the first panel I attended was the Mega Man Fan Club. Now, if you've been following the channel for a couple of years, at least, you probably have an idea that I'm a pretty rabid Mega Man fan. Now, I'll be honest that I haven't played the most recent games as much, but I was super obsessed with, you know, Mega Man X and all the NES releases. When I was a kid, people were pretty much losing their minds to Mario, but for me, Mega Man was like my hero. That was my ride or die right there. So I used to, when I was in elementary, I would draw these stages, like stages that I came up with on my own. And then I would make my own original Mega Man characters. And I just had a lot of fun with that. And I still have some of those level designs till this day. And when I look at that, I'm like, wow, like it's so crazy that I became so hyper obsessed that I was just creating my own version of these games. Anyways, I kind of got a little sidetracked there, but the panel was pretty much covering the history of Mega Man all the way from its incarnation to present. And this panelist did a phenomenal job. Unfortunately, not a lot of people showed up for this, which, you know, total opposite of the Sonic the Hedgehog one. But one thing I really respect is that he kept it moving. He still delivered what he came to do. And that's what it's about, because even I go through the same thing with YouTube. You know, there's a lot of times when I'm like, ooh, I got one in the tank. I got one for him. And then nothing, crickets. And I'm like, I don't understand. I just don't understand. And then other times, you know, I'm halfway doing stuff. I'm just, okay, yeah, I'm going to respond to this. This is what I think. And then I get a massive response. And it's like, I don't understand.
I would say 100% start with one of the classic legacy collections. The accessibility, like save states and rewind provided, makes it worthwhile. These are super cheap when they're on sale or used. I think I just saw it for the Steam sale for like $7 or something. It's also worth noting that you can jump into any classic entry regardless of number. since they're not very story heavy. So you can start with 2, 7, or 11 and still enjoy everything. 11 is the most recent entry with lots of difficulty options available, and it's designed for modern hardware.
And by the way, I just want to add that, like, I really thought Mighty Number 9 was going to be like this masterpiece. I really did. I thought it was going to just be the greatest thing ever, and I was so disappointed with that. Absolutely disappointed. But you can't win them all. And by the way, love the dude's helmet. Love the helmet. Okay, so the next panel was quite a doozy. This was C is for Community. And let me set this up for you. So this was the only panel where before it had even happened, I saw that there were comments. And I was like, oh, let me check this out. And this is on the Fanguru app, by the way. And so the comments were, you know, one person commented saying, like, I don't know how this is going to turn out or if this will be a very productive conversation. This could be just people ranting. So me seeing that, you know, I was thinking two things. Like, first of all, I want to make this clear here and right now, especially if you're new to the channel. I'm not a drama channel by any means. That's not the kind of content I want to put out personally. You know, I want to put out positive stuff. And like I said, yeah, sure, if I have to be critical on a game or an anime for whatever reason, I will do that. But anyways, with that being said, does that mean that I am above drama content? It does not. Am I above consuming said content? I am not. So I was like, this might be entertaining. I think I might check this out because I really still wasn't sure what to expect. So I decided, yeah, I'll mark this on my list. So first off, the panel was nothing what I had anticipated. This was more about having a serious discussion on bullying, homophobia, fat shaming, racism, elitism, and the cosplay community, things like that. So first off, I want to say my heart goes out to each and every one of the panelists that decided to share a personal, intimate story from their experiences. There was even one point where one person got really emotional, and it was kind of at this moment that I decided, I think I am not going to record this. Up until that point, I really didn't have my camera out or anything. I was just kind of getting a feel of what to expect. And the reason why I decided not to record it, this kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning. Like, that's just not the kind of content I want to put out. I don't want to put out someone getting emotional about, you know, a traumatizing experience they had when they were younger. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what this channel is. Now, in case anyone doesn't know, obviously, of course you know, I would think you would know that I am a person of color. You know, I'm Black and Mexican. Just for clarification, in this next segment, I'm about to comment on a section in the panel where they discuss misidentifying genders and the usage of pronouns. There is a section I decided to remove, and the reason why I removed it was because I felt like I didn't articulate very well what I was responding to, so that's why you're getting this section right here in the video. Anyways, let's get back to it. Now, if there was a way that I could apply something and add perspective to the conversation, I guess I would say something to the effect of even someone like myself, like, of course, I am not by any means trying to say that this is the same as, you know, how you choose to identify. You know, I have a lot of piercings, I have a lot of holes in my face, and I went through phases when I was in high school. You know, I was like heavily into rap and R&B, and then like it was like close to the end of high school, I started getting into metal, and then once I got into industrial, it was over. The reason why I'm bringing up this stuff is that you have to do what works for you. You have to pretty much decide at a certain point, like, you know what, I really don't care what other people think about me. I have to do this thing because it feels right to me. There's going to be people that are not going to understand you. There's going to be people that just dislike you for being different. There are going to be people that think you are doing this to seek attention. They're thinking This person wants to stand out. God, they're so selfish. They need attention so badly. I'm going to be crazy here. I'm going to say an unpopular opinion. I'm still in the belief that most people are good people. Most people are not out to get you. Most people are not out to hate on you. But some people just don't understand. I just also want to add that even if you are in the right and people should acknowledge who you are and identify you as you choose to identify, ultimately, there are people that are not going to accept that. And that's the part where I'm telling you to be proud of who you are and accept who you are and not worry about what other people are thinking, because you ultimately can't change what people are thinking. It's up to them to get past that and get over themselves. And hopefully you have a support system. You have people you can count on in your life to get you through those rougher times. But ultimately, you know, like I said, of course, it might sound a little silly and juvenile that I'm relating it to music and aesthetics and how I dress or piercings and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, even then I knew I had a choice. Like, I could dress like a normie, but I was like, that's not cool to me. That's not cool to me. And so the same thing in these type of situations, especially if you feel like this is me and I'm not going to hide who I am. Yeah, you shouldn't hide who you are. All these people, I wish them the best of luck. I can relate to people misunderstanding you, passing judgment on you. I can totally relate to all those things. So for lunch, I decided to stop by this place called Cajun Ed's Southern Scratch Kitchen. So I don't have too much to comment on this. I mean, the food was just excellent. And I think they had some bread pudding that I tried, and I thought that was really good too. Like I said, don't have much to say except for it was good. So after lunch, I decided to stop by the dealer's room to see what was going on. And I bought a few things, nothing really noteworthy. I did pick up a Megazone 23 Blu-ray release that had all 3 Megazone 23 movies. But like I said, just bought a few things here and there, nothing too major. Next up was the AV contest submission. Now, obviously, I don't have any footage from this panel, but it's good to see like people are still making anime music videos. Like I said, probably in an Anime Fest video, I don't know anyone that makes anime music videos. But when I think back to them, like just being around for so long, and that was pretty much like my introduction to YouTube. It was cat videos and anime music videos. So seeing that they're alive and well and that people are still making them and they're still having contests with them, I mean, that's just really cool to me. So being the Looney Tune that I am, I was like, hey, let's just kind of walk around the hotel and see what's up on the outside. And I say I'm a Looney Tune for that because it was blazing. It was blazing. And I ended up stumbling across some vehicles, very cultured vehicles, exclusively men of culture vehicles. Hey, but really cool stuff. I got to speak to one of the owners too. Shout out to Jordan. But over the years, I only saw like maybe 1 or 2 vehicles at an anime convention, but now I'm beginning to see more and more people are, you know, dressing up their cars, adding a little flair, adding a little anime style to them. And I do think that's pretty cool. Oh, so before I went to the Guilty Gear tournament, I wanted to grab something to eat. I really didn't think I had enough time for this, but I ended up going to the Remington bar that's within the hotel. And I had a very, very delicious burger. Did not expect that I would have enough time for this because I'm just used to, like, when it comes to conventions and, you know, the hotel, whether it's the restaurants or the hotels, I'm used to them just being overwhelmed and it taking a really long time to get food and whatnot. But I went here, there wasn't a lot of people in there, and you know, I had a couple of beers and had a burger, and man, that really hit the spot. Again, if you're familiar with the channel, you know that I have an affinity for Guilty Gear. Now, I would not say that I've ever been good at Guilty Gear. You know, the first 2 games when Blaze Blue came out, I felt like I was pretty decent at that. I felt like I could hold my own. But Guilty Gear has always just been one of those games where this is fun, but I know I'm not exceptional at it. Regardless, I did want to check out the tournament, and this gave me excuse to check out the gaming room as well, which it was extremely spacious. And I know I've said this for other conventions, but like, and I'm not trying to like talk crap or anything. That's, like I told you, that's not my style. But I'm saying for the size of the convention and then what kind of gaming room they had, I was impressed. I really was impressed. There's conventions that are double the size of Tokyo OK, and they have the same size of game room, and I'm like, what's going on with that? But anyways, really spacious location, and they have multiple tournaments going on. I'm just someone that, like I said, I like Guilty Gear, and I wanted to see, you know, what was what and see how, you know, some of the contestants were doing, and I wanted to see what their skills were like. Obviously, I know I was totally unequipped for this, but it's still fun. I still like tournaments, and like I said, I don't know, at some point I would like to enter another one again, because for me it's been Dead or Alive 5, I think, you know, and then at you know, I did okay at that, and of course years ago I won a Gears of War 2 tournament. Totally not a flex, by the way. Next up was Conversations with Brick. And this was a panel where Marcus Malden shared his like experiences, and I guess what a lot of people know him for is being the voice of Brick from Borderlands. Now, coincidentally, I happen to be a Brick player, so I think that's absolutely insane. So I was kind of excited to go to this panel. This dude was absolutely hilarious. This was a very, very fun panel. He had some moments where he shared some insight into voice acting and had some serious moments, but ultimately it was a really fun panel. I even had to buy one of the shirts, one of the Team Brick shirts, but this was an absolute blast. Now I will share this since the audio was a little off and it didn't come quite in, so I won't make a video out of this, but one of the stories that Marcus shared was about how people that he interacted at conventions, like one person said, hey, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met my wife, or hey, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have overcome my abusive relationship. And it's crazy. It's absolutely insane, but it was really cool hearing him share these stories. They were so fun, and it really does show. It is a true testament to how even entertainment, even though it's for fun, even though it's not real, it can kind of teach us stuff and motivate us and inspire us to do things that we feel like we cannot do. So Sunday I didn't really do too much. I got something to eat, and I think I went to IHOP. I went to IHOP for that. And then after that, I ended up checking out of the room, went to 2 panels, went to the dealer's room one last time, and then bounced. That's essentially what my day was. The Itadakimasu panel was pretty awesome. There aren't that many of us weebs that have made the trek to Japan. Those of us that have get to eat and try various foods that we have only seen in anime. But what if you could try to replicate those amazing dishes in your home? Is it even possible? That's more or less of what this panel was about. They even passed out food for you to try, the ultimate pinnacle of hospitality. This definitely made me want to attempt making more Japanese dishes.
But she pushed me into it. And was it worth it? Oh yeah, of course. Like, this is great. I can see people being scared of this. My dad would never eat this in a million years. So I mean, you think, well, you're nope. Yeah. I did want to warn you, it does have rice, like mochi. It also has seafood, egg, and tofu. So, okay, I have to check this allergens. I don't want to risk anybody getting it out.
So the last thing that I attended at the convention was Danganronpa and Q&A games. Now, I really didn't know what to expect this to be, but I was pleasantly surprised. Like, the game they were doing was very simple. It was pretty much, okay, we have a killer, maybe we have 2, and then the killer's gonna pick someone while their head's down, and then you gotta kind of guess who you think it could be. and pretty much everyone in the room, minus non-participants, which I was a non-participant, but people that were a part of the game had to work together to kind of decide, okay, yeah, we all pick this person. This is the person, that guy right there. And it was hilarious, especially since us non-participants knew who the killers were, and just seeing, oh no, they're gonna totally think it's this girl and it's not her. But it was actually like a simple game, but it was really fun. And I hope they do this again next year, because I mean, you could tell like everyone that participated had a really good time, and even the people that weren't participating, it was hilarious to me, because at one point there was one person that people just could not pinpoint, and I'm like, isn't it obvious? Maybe it's not obvious. I don't know. I guess it's not obvious. Maybe this person is just that good.
Okay. Alright. Everyone close their eyes. Ready to go.
Yeah, okay.
Alright. Take your guesses. If you heard anyone pass you, body has been discovered. Any specific guesses of who it could be? Yes. You.
It's not me. I've got a nasty.
I honestly didn't feel anyone around me move, so I don't think it's anyone that's over in this corner.
I heard a lot of shuffling.
Maybe it is me.
Maybe
Maybe
it's her, guys.
I heard a lot of shuffling.
Hold on. Are you guessing orange hair?
Yeah, I want
Daphne?
Yeah, Daphne.
Yeah, Daphne. Oh, the blue hair?
So just to wrap this up, just a couple of things to point out. Overall, I had a really good time at this convention, and the last time I was here was probably several years ago, and I specifically remember that there was a J-Rock band that performed, which actually I thought they were pretty cool. I even got autographs from them. Anyhow, one of the things I like about this convention is that it is, in my opinion, in the sweet spot. So when I was at this convention, I had so many people pull up on me. So many people come up and just start a conversation, ask me while I was recording, ask me, what am I doing? Where am I going to put this at? And then just even talk in general. I even had people asking me just camera questions. It was just a really good time. Very, very friendly people. And I really do believe that like this is kind of the sweet spot, at least for me, where when you go to bigger conventions, which I've been to a couple, and you can tell like there's so much going on that you really don't have time to meet new people, link up with new people, make new friends, because there's so much going on. A shout out to all the attendees and photographers that I spoke to, people that were working hard, people that were working, and even though I guess you could classify what I'm doing as working, but this is like my leisure thing. And one last thing I want to add is that I had Tokyo K that I attended. Then there was a week in between. Then there was Anime Fest 2024, which is the last big anime fest they were ever going to have. And I just want to say, amongst these two conventions in particular, spoiler alert for those that weren't aware that I was going to make another Anime Fest video, but this moment, this time period within this 3-week span, like this has been like my best experience. I don't want to say best, but we'll say, it's up there, especially post-COVID. This has been one of the better ones in a while. Just I met new people, I linked up with new people, had a lot of fun just interacting with attendees and stuff like that. And it really made me realize that, yeah, I should totally, because I did have a moment where I was wondering, maybe I'm about to age out of anime conventions. But it made me realize that, no, I'm doing the right thing, because, I forget that this is a lot of fun. I like seeing people have a lot of fun. But really, that's going to do it for me. Please let me know where you stand down in the comments. If you are a regular attendee of Tokyo OK, let me know if I did your convention justice. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like. I would greatly appreciate that. But it's been fun. I appreciate you watching the video to the very end, and I'll see you next time.